Hail to the Dark Prince, baby, and welcome back to this showdown between the Warriors of Chaos and the Skaven. So it's going to be Sigvald facing off against Lord Skrolk, and it looks like Skrolk has brought a big, scary, strong friend here in the form of Gorich. So obviously this is a very close quarters map, certainly going to be good for the Warriors of Chaos, at least against old school Skaven. Now, of course, contemporary Skaven have many great tools to counter the rush. Here you can see we got Gorich. I think he's got a Bonebreaker or something, a Chieftain on a Bonebreaker. And yeah, of course, the Poison Wind Globadiers are quite terrifying against Chaos Blobbed Infantry. So it should be quite a mess here for me. Now, for my army here, get a little bit of Hog Wild. I brought some Aspiring Champions in the front line. I don't think they got any really pertinent changes here in the DLC, but I really just like them. I think they're incredibly cool looking. Like, these guys are like Chaos, right, in Warhammer and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, two of them in the front line. They're silver shielded. You know, if there are some Skaven skirmishers they can push in, they should be able to beat clan rats and Skaven slaves, and they give you some encouragement as well. So in the late game, if your lord dies or you're in a bad situation, that extra leadership can help. It's got to be Marauders backed up by Spawn. Spawn have always been pretty good against Skaven. Granted, Skaven players have been evolving quite a bit and using clan rat spears and Skaven slave spears and slingers to just drag you down. But if they don't bring those tools, the Chaos Spawn can definitely be a huge problem. They beat Rat Ogres, they can fight Brood Horrors very effectively. These guys are no joke for sure. In the back, triple Marauder Horsemen, very much a standard in this matchup. Great answer against the big Skaven monsters, which they now bring quite a bit against Chaos. We got Uncle Sigvald down here, Uncle Creepy, and he's great. Sigvald with his new buffs, his Perfect Vigor, his new abilities he has, of course. I think it's called Deadly Onslaught and Slippery. Yeah, Sigvald is ever so slippery. He can really duel with the best of the Skaven lords, and it's pretty much impossible to snipe until late game. He is a monster. We got an Exalted Hero on foot just to back up Sigvald, just in case they went with Deathmaster and another Assassin and really came for that Goon Squad. Sigvald having an Exalted Hero with him can make all the difference. And a Firecaster, that's pretty much it, with some Forsaken on the flanks. Forsaken are great against Skaven. They can really cut through the chaff very quickly. However, they're very squishy, so Rat Ogres plus like any chaff will beat the Forsaken. You have to be a little bit careful with these bad boys. Sorry about the camera there. And now for King of the Dead's army. Skaven Slave Spears in the front, Clan Rats in the second, Globadiers in the third. Very standard stuff here. Granted, his build's a little bit unorthodox, but still quite strong, I think. Looks like more Rat Ogres, the Warp Lightning Cannon with the Council Guard, and it is also going to be a Chieftain, Gorich, as well as Lord Skrolk with all of his filthy, glorious abilities here. Now looks like he's got Libra and Rod of Corruption, so let's have some fun and see if the prodigal prince can return and slay the filthy Skaven. So Warp Lightning Cannon's coming in the back here, shooting onto the Chaos Spawn. He's already killed 2 Spawn, which is quite nice, and let's go ahead and get some cool shots. Aspiring Champions, I really hope to see more stuff like this in Game 3, like these low model count elite units. I think it's super cool. But they're getting globes pretty good, but they have a low model count, so the poison isn't going to be that good against them. It was also part of my thought, sending those guys in to really get some work in. But now these Chaos Spawn get a little bit overzealous and charge in. However, they do punish these Skaven battle lines, but the Forsaken also charge in as well. Now, I've committed a lot to this position, and King of the Dead should get massive value here. His globes are going to just be punishing all these units with poison, but I do pull back these Forsaken, seeing that that's a bit of a problem. I'll also get the Demon Spear around the back, and a Burning Head did go down on the Warp Lightning Cannon, but it didn't seem to have the best angle due to my poor cast, so I kind of paid the troll toll there a little bit. Now, if we look overhead, here the Skaven position has buckled, but they're just Skaven slaves, not a huge deal. Here we have Forsaken on Clan Rats, should be a winning fight for me. Now the Council Guard are being pulled from reserves and should be engaging, while there is also a Plague Monk summon going down from the Skaven to help buffer the front line as well. Skaven leadership's in good shape. Gorich and the Chieftain are just coming back to help secure. The Warp Lightning Cannon definitely in a little bit of danger. I'm in danger, as the Demon Spew here are really just charging in balls deep, but they're getting globed. They're getting Goriched pretty good. He's got his giant Power Claw, and he's ready to go. And Gorich definitely has some cool attack animations. The mighty Corn Rat Ogre, quite a paradox indeed. Well, not really, I guess. They're all Chaos. But yeah, my Demon Spew in the back line getting punished really badly. King had a nice reaction there, and now the Demon Spew is going to be paying the price. However, here the Globadiers are on the run, and that's always a good sign if they're running and not shooting. And on the other side as well, the Aspiring Champions and the Forsaken have collapsed in really hard, and you can see that the mighty Globadiers certainly not long for this earth, as they're also being chased, and the Marauder Horsemen all still in good shape, which is a huge, huge boon here in this situation. Having the Marauder Horsemen to sit and shoot at the at the Ogres or any of the other monsters will certainly be very helpful. But balance power is still relatively even. Skaven still have some scary monsters. They have Skrolk, they have Gorich, they also have a Chieftain, which is on a Bonebreaker, which honestly isn't bad against infantry. But, you know, I'm hoping I can surround them, and in the late game, Sigvald is going to be able to grind those guys out. So Warp Lightning Cannon's gone. Council Guard's still fighting, but Council Guard does not want to be fighting unsupported, especially against Sigvald and his glorious chaps back here, and also Javelins thrown in there. But yeah, Sigvald should be able to dunk on these rats. I don't know if he got any buffs to his like splash attacks, but I feel like Sigvald does do much better against like hordes. There was actually an FFA game I cast a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, where Sigvald was playing, and he just got so many points against like a horde of spearmen. So here the Chieftain is being hunted to extinction. The Exalted Hero and the Aspiring Champions. Tell me that's not a cool shot right there. The Mighty Hero and the Champs chasing down the Chieftain. Gorich doing his weird spinning 360 no-scope attack there. Able to do some decent splash, but Marauder Horseman, always a proven tool here against the Chieftains and these big monsters. And you can see the Fireball coming from downtown to the Chaos Sorcerer, also able to get some pretty good damage. And that's looking to be a little bit of trouble for the Skaven. Forsaken to the backfield, really making sure things aren't coming back. He does have some globes, which should be able to return and probably kill these Forsaken, but losing the Chieftain here, or losing that much HP on the Chieftain, might have been something that potentially broke the Skaven's back, but that globe might actually finish off these Forsaken. They're taking a ton of damage here, and maybe the Chieftain will be able to rally. We'll see. Rout Ogres here, as they're jokingly called on the flank, are being poked down by the Marauder Horseman Horde. And back in the center mass, Gorich he's fighting a good fight. Normally without Sigvald nearby, Gorich might be able to really do some serious work and cleave through this Horde, especially with Skrolk. You can never really count out little Skrolk out of here because of the Rod of Corruption, Lieber, and his ability to just spam summons over the course of the game. He pretty much creates a buffer, right, for these elite units. But the Exalted Hero plus Sigvald should be able to honestly take out Gorich. Gorich has about 3,000 HP. Siggy's coming in there, and in a straight duel with all items and abilities, Sigvald does just narrowly lose to Gorich. It's a pretty close fight, but Sigvald with his full kit costs 1,600 gold. Gorich with his first kit, I think, costs like well over 2,000. It's like 22 or 24, maybe even more with his items. So that's a pretty good trade, and you can see here Gorich really getting whooped on. Sigvald giving him the biz. He perhaps heard me saying that he would lose, and he wanted to prove differently, but Gorich actually is slain here by the Spawn, as well as Sigvald. Rod of Corruption going down from Skrolk, but this rat is most certainly in the wrong neighborhood. As we look around the map, I don't know why the bounce power isn't worse. There's still a fair amount of chaos. I guess it's mostly horsemen and skirmishers and things like that, but that's what's really nice about Sigvald. For the most part, any of the Skaven Lords, he might lose to Deathmaster one-on-one. I don't know. I think if they're both full health with Sigvald, with his Slippery and his Heroic Killing Blow and Stand Your Ground, I think Sigvald would actually win. That's something we could potentially test after this game. Granted, I have to do it against the AI to show you guys, but still something that would be interesting. So, Marauder Horseman coming around the back. At this point, it's pretty much just the Ratmaster being fully surrounded. There are still some Council Guard here, though. Bounce of Power, yeah, definitely looks like the Skaven are going to have a hard time coming back. Maybe if they had like a Globadier nuking this pocket of troops, that might be something, but I don't think there's any way that Sigvald could lose to Skrolk here. Skrolk is pretty good in combat, but Sigvald is an unholy terror in terms of dueling now. You can see his melee attack is lowered, of course, by Skrolk's aura, but Heroic Killing Blow, 882, and also fire damage. Oh, baby. Talk dirty. Talk that Slanesh dirtiness over here, and yeah, Sigvald is Value City. 2,300 gold. He paid for himself plus 700, which is really nice. Exalted Hero did pretty good. On foot, he cost 600, so he more or less paid for himself. And yeah, Aspiring Champs did okay. I mean, they didn't die, I guess. One of them died, but I suppose the encouragement isn't something to scoff at. Honestly, probably cutting the Aspiring Champs would be probably the more prudent play, and just replacing them with Poison Hounds, because having something to chase and like really corral things, I think is more valuable than having a little bit of a Vanguard buffer like that. Spawn did okay. They usually get punished pretty good, and the Forsaken, for the most part, didn't pay for themselves, but, they also compromised positions. They killed the Skaven slaves, and they allowed me to get into the positions I wanted to. So not everything, of course, is, oh, did it pay for itself? No, there's many variables like spatial control, crushing a flank and allowing other things to create value. You guys get the picture. But yeah, King's build is definitely fun. Gorich is, I don't know how much I like Gorich. I mean, I guess if there are matchups in which he's good, he is a countermeasure against Sigvald. But really, yeah, this build was able to swarm pretty well. I think switching these clan rats to spears would be very prudent, because, you're not going to win against even Marauders. You might as well have the spear. So if they have to fight the spawn, they're going to trade much more effectively. Probably one globe is honestly fine. Anyways, we can take a look, but well played to King. It was a really fun game. You guys can see, of course, the value of Sigvald. It's so good to see like a simplistic foot character be this effective. Man, I hope they make like all foot characters like, at least comparable in some way to Sigvald with what they've done to him. I think it's great. So let's go ahead and take a look. Well played to King. So we will do custom battle first. So we're going to do a couple things here in this video. So firstly, you can see my blessed layer of builds here. Do I have a Skaven build versus Chaos? I think I do. Take a look. Yeah, so we run Throt. I think the Rat Ogre summon is too good to pass up on. We have a Foot Assassin, a Plague Furnace. You need something to kill the Chaos Infantry blob. You saw how many Forsaken I had, right? You need something to stop that. More Rat Ogres, plus Morskatar's Hellion. We have the regular Wolf Rats with Poison to pressure the Marauder Horsemen. And then we have a single Globe and a Mortar as well with some Spears. Something like this, you have more buffering, you have a Furnace. You also have Rat Ogres. I think something like that could be pretty good against Chaos. Now, the next part is to test Sigvald. So I will control Sigvald since his timed abilities are more pertinent. Mighty Prince Sigvald. And I think we're on Glacial Lake. Glacial Lake is a really good map for testing, in case you guys were wondering. Hadrius was telling me about that. Because it's obviously super close quarters. So you can just do that. So is it the Glacial Lake or is it Glacial Lake? I don't remember. Nah, it's Glacial Lake. So many confusing things. So Deathmaster here. I'm pretty sure Sigvald's going to win this pretty handedly. But again, Deathmaster is much cheaper. So we don't need Concealment Bombs. I mean, I guess it can have it. That's fine. Whirl of Weeping Blades won't do much, but the Cloak of Shadow. So, you know, more or less comparable in terms of cost. Sigvald 1600, Deathmaster is 1500. He's got the Snare. Very different in terms of roles, but just from a theoretical test, I think it'll be relatively interesting to see how this goes, because this is something that could become common. If Chaos players keep bringing Sigvald, I think Skaven will adapt by bringing Deathmaster plus an Assassin to goon him, because potentially, you know, with AP, and if you catch Sigvald in a compromising position, you could probably kill him pretty quick. So we'll just, you know, run here until we see him, and then we'll just, you know, go to slow-mo and get the animation. I would imagine he'll be here any second. Deathmaster has really, really fast speed, although, you know, the AI does like to camp, so we'll just go ahead and move, and then we'll pause when we see him. Where are you at, rat? We'll walk Sigvald to make sure we have the even vigor. Yeah. Okay, so he's still fresh. Oh, that's right. Sigvald has perfect vigor. Oh, how cool is that? Yeah, he doesn't need to walk. Ah, there he is. The Deathmaster is here. So let's go ahead and do this. Oh, the Snare. Of course, AI. I mean, the Snare isn't really going to make a difference. What you would do in a duel, though, is you would Snare and then it would break on charge. But again, I don't have anyone here to help me test. So the abilities we want to pop are probably going to be the Slippery and Heroic Killing Blow. And I guess we just probably layer. I think, you know, 75 melee defense is enough. Like, we can just use the stand your ground once the other ones wear off. So the duel is underway. Deathmaster definitely taking some big damage. He does have Slippery himself. I'll look at him doing all those anime moves and shit. I wonder if that's actually going to affect the duel. Yeah, you know, Deathmaster is doing pretty well here. How long do we have on the buffs here? Looks like one of them's about to wear off, yeah. So we'll stack it just so we have more long-term buffs. Sigvald's making good contact. I think his stats are quite a bit higher. 70, you know, they're pretty even, actually. 70 and 74, and 70 and 51. Due to the cloak. And the Siggy's got that healing too, which is pretty big. And there it goes. Nice little attack right there. We'll pop stand your ground. Now we can just fast forward and just watch them fight. The AI tends to do stupid shit like that, which kind of ruins the test. Oh my god, what is it doing? I guess he just refreshes the charge, but I think it's... Yeah, I think generally Sigvald would win in a straight fight. But again, with an Assassin, you know, using trophy heads and things like that, kind of becomes a toss-up. Obviously, Snikich has the Snare too, so he's going to get the better engagements typically. So there's... I do think Skaven bringing Deathmaster against Chaos could be pretty good, but you know, you got to be careful too. They're spawned if you have an Exalted Hero nearby. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you for watching. And you guys see, I mean, Skaven are strong, but they certainly can be beaten here by some of these OG factions like the Warriors of Chaos. But again, guys, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care.